All right, yo, what's up, Nikki? So I'm going to go through some stuff that you can use anytime that you're doing movement. Okay, so this can be part of your morning walk, which you may look a little weird doing some of this stuff in your morning walk, but you could. You could do this after eating. So movement after eating doesn't have to just be a walk, although I think a walk is the most easiest thing to do. But you can also do some of the stuff I'm going to show you here. But I think specifically we're thinking about breaking up the day so that you're changing positions. So before even considering going to the gym, I think what's even more useful is thinking in terms of I just want to stay active all day. And now we've found these little punctuated times that we can do that. We've got morning, we've got post meal. Now we're thinking about breaking up the day so we don't have so much monotony. And when you think about it, so we're adding a bunch of movement throughout the day. And when we think about it, most of our days are spent either sitting or standing. And those are two very stagnant positions. So we just want to change that. Walking is one way that we can do that. We can also do some of these things I'm going to show you here. So what I'm going to show you, you do not have to do all of this every time, although you could, because you're going to notice it doesn't take that much time. Um, but in order for me to remember things, I always like to go in this order of thinking in terms of top down. Okay. And you can choose the number of reps. I like to do 10 every time I do anything. And so I'll use this when I'm in airports or traveling or staying somewhere there's not a gym, just to keep my body moving. Okay. So starting from top down means I'll think about my head. What can I do with my head? I can do some side neck stretches. I know that you said you had some alignment issues, but this is something that you could do or you could skip if it doesn't feel right. All right, so I'm doing 10 reps, just counting to 10, right? Chin down, chin up. I could even do some head circles or neck circles. All right, so now if I come down to my shoulders, I could do some shrugs to the back, count to 10, and I could do shrugs to the front, count to 10. And then if I come down just a little further, I've got my arms. So we can do some front raises, just like this right here. And all I'm doing, you could pretend like you have some weights in your hand. Nice little squeeze at the top. I'm getting 10 of these, right? And then I'm coming out to the side and I'm doing 10 side lateral raises, all right? Just counting to 10. Nice little squeeze at the top. What's cool about this is if you have a good mind muscle connection, you can make yourself kind of squeeze and it's so good for your body, okay? So then I like to do some hug slaps. So if I bend over at the waist and do what's like a good morning and I just kind of have a little hip hinge here, and I noticed that you said, you had some neck issues, so you don't have to look up as you're doing this. You can just keep your head in alignment with your body all the time. So here we've got some slacks, and then I can also swing my body like this and swing my arms. Okay, so we're working our way down. I can do some bicep curls, no weight, I'm just squeezing. I can also do some tricep extensions where I'm pushing down and just squeezing. Again, I'm getting 10 of these. Okay, now working my way down. Now I'm around the hip area. So what I can do is get into a squat stance and just do some good mornings. So I'm pushing my hips back, keeping my head and neck in line with my spine, and then doing 10 of these. So hips back and then hips forward. Hips back and hips forward. Now, as you're doing these, make sure you keep a flat lower back here. And then you want to feel just a little bit of a stretch. You got a little bit of a bend in your knees. Pushing the hips back, you feel a nice little stretch in your butt and your hamstrings, but if you're keeping that back nice and flat, you're strengthening your back, okay? So 10 good mornings. Then again, working our way down, I can do what's like some high knees or some knee raises. So just as high as I can get these knees up and count to 10, 3, 4. This is so good for you. Raising your knees up. Very functional, right? You're going to step over something, you got to do this. All right, so you get 10 of these in. Nice big squeeze at the top. And then you can do what's like a butt kicker, but you're just standing in place. So just kind of squeeze the back of the legs and you count to 10. All right, now if you can do a squat, remember with your squat, your stance, your feet are up under your shoulders versus close together. They're just a little bit wider apart. And if you can do a squat properly, meaning keeping all the weight on your feet, keeping your feet flat, not coming up on your toes or falling back on your heels, you're going to open your knees and sit back as if you're sitting on the toilet, and you're going to try to come down as low as you can, okay? Now, if that's hard, you can bust out a chair And then that might be a little bit easier. Same thing, I got my squat stance, I send my hips back like I'm gonna sit on the toilet, and then I sit down on the chair, and then I do the same thing. I could do like maybe 10 of those. Now, as I work my way down, I could do some calf raises, so just come up on the toes and give myself 10 of these. All right, and so that's a pretty good little top-down, workout. And you could do one set of that, you could do 3 sets of that, you could do one set, and then some other things I'm going to show you here. All right, the other next beneficial thing that I think we can do is a plank, okay? So one of the things that we see cause some of the back issues and lower back issues is definitely sitting, but not having a strong core. So when you strengthen the core, you're going to strengthen all the muscles back there as well. So for a plank, I can simply take something that's slightly elevated. Now I want this to be at about hip level. If it's too high, you're not going to get any benefit out of it, right? So I want something that I can kind of send my feet back. And then once I'm in this position, I'm holding everything nice and tight, squeezing my stomach, squeezing my core, and maybe holding this for 30 seconds to a minute, or maybe just challenge yourself, see how far you can go. And again, take a break and you can do like 3 to 5 sets of this, right? This is really, really useful. So how much time are we at right now? This is about 5 minutes and I'm talking this through it, right? So we did a top down deal, hold a nice little core plank. If you can get into the bottom of a squat, I think that's a really good stretch. So bottom of a squat. Again, if you can do this with proper form, if I sit down into the bottom of the squat, then I can kind of get down here and stretch a little bit. I can grab my toes. I can push my hips up, come back down, stand up. This is one that we call these bootstraps. So again, down to the bottom of the squat, pushing my knees out, grabbing my toes, pushing my hips up, putting them back down, standing up. So maybe that's an option for you. I'm not sure. And then finally, I would say carrying 2 weights in your hand. Now you could carry 2 water jugs or something like that, but as I'm walking, carrying these around, I want to make sure I pinch my shoulders back versus like having them pull me down. I just got really bad posture, right? I want to keep my shoulders pinched back, keep my core nice and tight, and then I'm just walking around holding this weight, right? Now I can do this with anything. I got like a water jug over here. You could do it with one arm. Actually, we do these in the gym all the time. So this is a 5-gallon jug, and I could just walk around, and as I'm holding this with one hand, and again, not letting my shoulders round, I'm nice and tight, I feel my core super engaged. So you can find, just if you only got one thing, you can do one arm carry for 30 seconds and then the other arm carry for 30 seconds. All right, and then the final thing might be just your own favorite stretches, whatever the heck those are. Okay, the things that come to mind for me are, remember from CrossFit, like the Spiderman Stretch, where you bring one foot up and you try to keep a vertical shin here, and then you're just in between inside your knee, pushing your hips down. You could do a little bit of a T-plank here. All right, and then you could switch legs, bring the other foot up, and again, you've got both hands planted, you're inside the knee, driving the hips down, doing a little T-plank. If any of this feels uncomfortable or you can't tell what the heck I'm doing, don't even worry about it, all right? Something else that might be useful for the lower back is just doing some Cobras. So just flexing the spine like this, and then going into downward dog. So pushing the hips back, getting a good stretch there, and again, coming down the floor, Cobra into downward dog, okay? So that's a lot of options there. You do not have to do all of it. Let me know what you think. I can reshoot this and make it a little bit cleaner. I just wanted to see where you're at with this stuff. Again, as a refresher, morning walk, awesome. Post-work or post-eating walks, awesome. And then we can throw in some of these movements throughout the day. Let's just say you did a morning walk, mid-morning, a little movement sesh, after lunch walk, mid-afternoon movement sesh, after dinner walk. That's a lot of great stuff, okay? For these little movement things, I like thinking about top down, so I remember all of it, working with the head all the way down to the feet, and then doing a plank and doing some stretches and maybe carrying some weight. Okay? Let me know if that's helpful or if you got any questions or comments or feedback, and I can reshoot this if we need to, okay?